Welcome to the Inner Revival podcast, because revival starts with you. As we allow God to heal, restore, transform us, and renew us from the inside out. We say, Lord, have your way in us. Let your kingdom come. Let your will be done in us on earth as it is in heaven. Hi, friends. Welcome to the Inner Revival podcast. Today's episode officially marks the first episode of 2026, and it feels so good to be back with you all. I am personally just so excited and expectant for what God is going to do in 2026, and I'm truly so honored and so grateful for the chance to show up here in this space and to hopefully be a source of encouragement in your life. But if I am honest, when I look back over the last few months, wow, it has felt so heavy and so hard. I don't know about you guys, but November, December was filled with so much sickness in my house. I have 4 little school-age children, and so I guess it should be expected that there will be constant sickness in my home. But December was really brutal. Many of you know I usually take a break in December to just be with the kids, and it's just a reprieve that I really look forward to, and it was one that I especially needed this year. I had just felt so exhausted because I have had so much on my plate over the last 6 months with my book deadline and starting a new job and the kids in school and just so the podcast, and just had so many different things on my plate. And so this year I was just really looking forward to that reprieve in December. And then when December came, I found myself just with back-to-back sicknesses in our home. I got sick with what I'm pretty sure was flu A that was going around. A lot of people had it, and it just took me out. I was just laid out in bed. Like, I could not power through. I felt feverish. I had the chills, the whole thing. And I was just so sick. And it took me like a good almost 2 weeks to fully feel better from that. It just felt like a long recovery. So I spent most of my December feeling horribly sick, and then finally was starting to feel better, had like a week or so of feeling better. And then I got what I'm pretty sure must have been COVID, because I was starting to lose my sense of smell. I was so sick. Luckily, I felt like no one else in my family had it quite as bad as I did, but I was so sick for the majority of December. And then we were going to head down to Florida to visit my husband's family. And at the time they were sick, we were sick. We weren't really sure if we were going to be able to make it happen, but we did go down there and we visited them. We had a couple really nice days together, but then our Cora Beth got the stomach flu and was vomiting. And so we ended up having to cut our trip short and head home early. So we spent New Year's Eve driving 10 hours home after a very short trip to Florida. So we rang in the new year just feeling sick. We put our kids to bed. We've been driving all day, and it just felt like a fitting end to what was a really hard and really exhausting month. A month where I wanted to just be soaking up the joy of the Advent season and just helping make the holidays magical for my kids. But if I am honest, I felt like I was just trying to survive. It felt like a really hard, long season. And so I found myself at the start of 2026 just sort of limping my way into the new year. I felt like I didn't have any energy or excitement for 2026 at all. And so what I want to do today is just share a word of encouragement for those of you who I know there are many of you who felt that same way, where you just feel like a sense of disappointment or discouragement, or a sense of just not even feeling like that normal burst of motivation or energy that people tend to get at the beginning of the new year, that you feel like you're just kind of limping your way across the threshold. And so this is for those of you who, like me, have felt that you are limping your way into 2026. Perhaps you feel like you just haven't really recovered from all the stress and the struggles that 2025 brought. And just this idea of dreaming and planning for 2026 feels defeating at best. And so while it looks like everyone else is out there setting goals, you are just trying to survive. But friend, here is the thing. You may be limping your way across the threshold, but you are still standing. And sometimes that simple fact alone is worth celebrating. And so I want to be here in your corner to cheer you on and to just remind you to keep going. Sometimes all you can do is just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep going. Sometimes it can feel hard to dream again. It can feel hard to hope again for fear of disappointment. And I know that one look on Instagram or on the internet will have you convinced that you are the only one. You are the only one struggling. You are the only one feeling this way. But I want you to know today that you are not alone. And that I too have had so many years in my life where I have felt so low or so small and so disappointed. And it felt like sometimes that is your only goal for a new year, is to just try to survive. In these moments, I often come back to this verse in Matthew 5:3 that's paraphrased in the Message version. It says this: "You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there is more of God and his rule." See, sometimes the greatest blessings come out of seasons where we have reached the end of ourselves. It's actually right there when I look back on my own life that I can see that God has actually done his most profound work in my life and in my heart. So God sees you, he is with you. And even when you are limping your way through, God is the one helping to uphold you. It's been true in my own life and story, and I know it will be true in yours, because God is more than faithful. So I want to end this episode sharing my word for 2026 as I finally feel like I recovered from the holidays and from the sickness and had some time to just pray and seek the Lord for my word of 2026. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that I typically start the new year sharing my word for the year. And every year, I just take time to pray and fast and seek God. And the word it's nothing superstitious. It's just a word to help kind of anchor my year. And I usually ask the Lord to give me a word and then also a verse to go with it that just anchors my year in him. And then, of course, I try my best to just surrender the interpretation of what I think it's going to look like or how it's going to unfold or what this word is going to mean in my life. I surrender the interpretation of it and I just receive this word. And this process of choosing a word and then having a verse to meditate on, it has been so impactful in my life. If you are interested more in that process, you can go back to last year and the year before. I gave a little bit more instruction on how to choose your word of the year. But this year, I just want to take some time to share my word for 2026. And for this year, my word is hope. The biblical definition of hope is a confident expectation and anticipation of God's future promises. It's an active trust that God is faithful and he will do what he said he will do. So when our hope is in God and it's not in ourselves or our limited strength or resources or abilities or even our circumstances, it helps us to remain rooted and secure in Christ's love in our lives. Jeremiah 17:7 in the New Living Translation says this: "But blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank, with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay hidden and they never stop producing fruit." See, I don't know what the future holds or what's ahead of me in 2026, but I do know who is ahead of me, and my hope is in him and him alone, in Christ. And so, friend, I hope this word has encouraged you. I'm praying that you would feel strengthened and be reminded this year to put your hope and confidence in Christ and in him alone. And I pray sincerely that as you do, that it would bring a deeper renewal and a new sense of peace in your everyday, ordinary life. I thank you all so much for being here, for tuning in. I am so, so grateful. I have so many good things and amazing conversations planned for this year on the podcast. So make sure to come back, tune into next week's episode. And of course, if this has encouraged you, would you take the time to rate and review and to share this episode with a friend? God bless you guys.